Yeah. Mm. On that day of the. And it's normal, so. I know. Because. You cannot now. JD usually finds one. Thank you. Oh. He's 10 minutes away. Yes. And that's what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking. And from the snap right. Elizabeth, did you connect to the judge? Are we waiting? Are we waiting for Mr. Deva? Deva, 5 minutes away. Oh, okay. That's the only one I'm missing. That's the next one. Oh.
We will name, well, I'm gonna start naming for, that one is my hand, but nothing, I have that.
Yeah.
Everybody usually does. Like you don't have internet. I'm not finding anything else. It's nothing.
Good luck. That's what we all go through today.
I know.
Oh, me regresó la llamada y me dice, es nuestro vecino, como pero por acá con la cabeza como que nada, me sorprende así. Dije, ay, ¿cómo es? Dije, ay, ¿cómo es? Well, you know. Like I'm gonna have one till and then.
Okay, no. I'm sorry. So you just.
Okay. And then.
You're gonna know your goals and see how much your. The attitude. Does it We don't. So. I don't know. Somebody. And then we end up with. The only thing we do is. This morning. I said, we're gonna send an email to everybody. I don't know that Liz is about. I didn't know it's been crazy. I have.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're just waiting for one more board member. So we can go ahead and have a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started with the meeting. Sorry that it's taken us a little bit longer than normal. I like to start on time, but not today. So just wanted to let you all know. Thank you.
That's what I thought maybe we could start, but. No. You can. Look it up. You just can't, conduct official business. We're voting. That is not. First you start snow, just like you're 10 minutes later, you know, after 10 minutes, you're like. So. I don't know, see, I'm trying to, because we can do recognitions. Well, only because other people are here. Yeah. That's good. Smart. Yeah, so I'll let you know. I'm waiting for him okay, so we can do the recognitions. As long as we don't vote, right? Right, as long as we don't vote. Okay.
Good afternoon, board members, administration, faculty, staff, and visitors. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting with the prayer, pledge of allegiance, and then we're going to recognitions until the other board member arrives. So if I can have Erica do the prayer and then Karina do the pledge of allegiance. Can everybody please rise?
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and skip to number 5, which is recognitions, introductions of personnel and new personnel actions for the month. 5A. Introduction of personnel actions, Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members and everyone who's here. We have quite an extensive list for today. And do you want me to stop? No.
Yes, let me go ahead and go back. So the time is 6:19 on this, the 21st day of September 2023, and I call this meeting of the Laredo College Board of Trustees to order. If I can have Mrs. Vela, please call roll.
Yes. Lupita Cepeda,
Present.
JD Jorge Delgado,
Absent.
Jackie Levin Ramos,
Absent.
Erica Benavides Garcia,
Present.
Cindy Liendo,
Absent.
Mercurio Martinez Jr.,
Absent.
Esteban Rangel,
Present.
Karina Elizondo,
Present.
and myself, present.
Thank you. That the records show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. So the next item is number 3, approval of the minutes of the public hearing and regular board meeting of August 24th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Rangel, a second by Mrs. Garcia. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public testimony? Do we have anybody? No public testimony. Okay, so we're back to number 5, recognitions, introductions of personnel and new personnel actions for the month. Introduction of personnel actions, Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members and guests in the audience. I'm privileged and honored to introduce to all of you some of our new hires, promotions, and changes in titles as we made some changes to our organizational chart as approved by the last board meeting. We made some adjustments to our org chart, and so some of those people are here today, and we'd like to introduce them to you or reintroduce them to you in their new capacities. And so as I call your name, if you'll please stand and we have a few new hires, and I'm going to do those first. So new hire, if you'll come forward, Alisa Arredondo, Administrative Assistant 1, Information Technology. Erica Valadez, Financial Aid Technician. Itzamar Flores, Academic Advisor, and Fatima Ibarra, Academic Advisor. If you'll all come forward. I don't know if you want to take a photo. Sure. Okay. And now I'm going to call the promotions and rehire, and part of the restructuring. So if all of you will come forward, we'll take a photograph with you as well. Brenda E. Carmona, Director of Instructional Technology. Esther Elsick, Associate Director, Project Management. Juan F. Flores, Graphic Designer. Ricardo Limon, Assistant Director, Graphic Design. Hector Mares, Production Manager. Cristian Ocampo, Public Relations Specialist. Jacqueline Patiño, Career Navigator at South Campus. Eduardo Rangel, Student Services and Record Specialist. Joanna Santillan, Assistant Director of Public Relations and Social Media. Melissa Santos Dominguez, Workforce Development Coordinator. Eliud Valdez, Assistant Director, Physical Plant, South Campus. Manuel Valdez, Assistant Director, Physical Plant, West Campus. Hoya Vidauri, Assistant Director of Human Resources. Gabriela Guevara, Administrative Assistant to Finance and Administration. Erica Valdez, Financial Aid Technician. Oh, sorry, I already did those. I'm sorry, Erica. No wonder she was like, what? Cassandra Salinas, Safety and Risk Manager. She's our new Safety and Risk Manager. Congratulations to all of you. We know that you will continue to do a great job for the college, and so we're looking forward to a lot more from each and every one of you. Sorry if that makes, there's more to come, right? Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, everybody. Welcome to the Laredo College family. Thank you. Do you have anyone else?
No, ma'am, that's
No.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? The next item we have is number six, Faculty Senate Report. Mrs. Juliana Kelly.
Good afternoon, board members, Madam President, everyone in the audience. I have a short report today, guys. It's not that lengthy, so please bear with me. First of all, I'd like to thank the board members for the raise, so we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Everyone is extremely happy about this. Second thing on the agenda, I'd like to just introduce my officers. Unfortunately, Ms. Victoria Rodriguez is not here today. However, I believe you guys are familiar with her. She's been with us for a while, so I'm really excited to have her still continuing in this position. We do have a new faculty member, Mr. Brian De Jesus. He has been here at the college for over 2 years, 8 years of teaching experience. He has extensive research in genetics, in microbiology, and genetically modified organisms as well. So here's Mr. Brian De Jesus.
Hello. Just want to say thank you to all of you for letting me into the LC family. I'm pretty proud and happy to be able to assist in any way I can for the good of the student body as well as my community. And it's a pleasure, and I hope to do the best I can to make it all that much better for everyone here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a few more items on the agenda. Everyone, the open education resources, we are on our way for spring 2024 to have our courses go OER. I'm sure you're familiar with this. Basically, it means that we will not have textbooks. We will not have It's going to be open resources. The students are going to have free textbooks, I guess. They can be digital, they can be online, but there will be no cost to the students. So that's going to be the number one thing that our students are going to benefit. I do want to just kind of mention, I thought about this, should I mention the negatives, the cons? One of the concerns that I do have with the cons of OER, board members and community and everyone else is the lack of resources that we may have in some disciplines, not all. For example, some of the specialty courses like botany, zoology, there's limited information out there, but we are going to try our best to try to make sure that we have everything up to par with those disciplines. And then the other one that I personally have maybe a little issue with is going to be the copyright. We have to be really careful that make sure that our faculty, when we're going OER, that we don't violate any copyright laws. We will not be able to use the PowerPoints, the test bank from the publishers. So we'll have to make sure that we just monitor that in terms of the faculty. But that was only my concerns. In terms of the 8-week courses, we are also, we're at the 5th week and midterms just passed. So we're hoping that the numbers indicate that this is a successful model. So fingers crossed. We've got a few weeks left. We're extremely tired, but we're trying our best. The students too. We're getting mixed reviews just in communicating with them, but we're trying our best and we're trying to be optimistic about it. So we're hoping the numbers show that it is a successful model. So other than that, told you I'd make it short and quick. Any questions?
Any
No.
questions?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you,
guys.
Mrs. Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item I have is number 7, Classified Staff Council Report. Mr. Sam Tovar.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Dr. Tejerina. Sorry about that. My name is Sam Tovar, and I have been privileged with the honor of representing the CSC classified staff. Our meeting right now, so basically is basically introducing everybody right now, and would you please do
Yeah,
the honor?
we're gonna introduce all the, I'm sorry, all the
Officer.
electives for the committee. And Sam, you're gonna go first.
My name is Sam Tovar. I have been working here in Laredo College part-time for about 3 years. After that, I was lucky enough to get a full-time position here. At first with the kinesiology and kinesiology and wellness. After that, pretty much right now, the department has gone to a couple of structures changes and stuff right now. So right now, the department is called the Department of Recreational and Esports. I'm glad we had this opportunity to get better experiences and stuff like that. Thank you very much. Mrs. Claudia Tovar.
I'm the vice president. Bear with me. This is new for me. I'm trying to learn, get the whole of everything. What can I say? I've been working here almost for 19 years at the bursar's office. Yes, I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to learn. It's new to me, all this. What can I say? It's pretty much, let me see. Updates. Updates. What can I tell you about updates? We are looking forward to participate in the events that we're gonna have later on. We're just inviting you, and we're gonna put what do you mean? I'm so sorry. I'm nervous. I'm pretty nervous right now.
That's okay.
We're gonna put we're gonna do raffles and events and everything. So we're just basically saying, you know what, you're invited. What else? Concerns. I had concerns because a lot of we asked if people had any concerns that they would voice out, and since now I'm gonna have to deal with it, would not deal with it, no, go forward with it. I'm listening to everybody. I did have some concerns from several people. I know we had the event of the intruder alert. They both voiced out that their concern was that they were receiving the message like a day later. What could they do? So it would be, you know what, at that moment, that time, I understand that some people do not use computer space on a daily basis. They're out on the field. They were receiving the message late. They told me, you know what, basically they were talking to me regarding students too, that they received it late. I'm gonna mention it. What can we do? That's one of the concerns. Based and up to now, that's the biggest concern that we had in the subjects that we were talking about. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the third candidate. Angie Nunez.
Thank you. My name is Angelita Nunez. I've been working for Laredo College for more than 15 years. And I'm serving as a capacity as a treasurer for the Classified Staff Council. And perhaps at our first meeting that we're going to host, we can invite our new risk manager to present for the safety. So thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rosario Dominguez, and I am a former Classified Staff Council president. And this year for 23-24, I'll be serving as Sergeant at Arms. So we're hoping to pick up our organization, our council, to make it better, make event participation and do whatever it takes to make our council come live again. So yes, but anything that we have prepared or whatever, we will let you know and we will keep you posted. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions,
No, ma'am.
I have.
comments? Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Well, I want to congratulate you all, but most importantly, I want to thank you for devoting your time, because I know already work is busy as it is. So everything extra is truly greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much. Thank you much, and thank you for having us. Like I said, representing the backbone of Laredo College is not a simple task, but I'll be glad to voice out their concerns and opinions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So the next item I have is number 8 is the consent agenda.
Madam President,
The Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
I motion to approve items 8A, 8B, 8C, 8D, 8E, 8F, 8G.
I second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel, and I have a second by Ms. Elizondo. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is number 9, discussion and possible action. 9A, proposal of approval of employee compensation during emergency closings as per Laredo College policy DEA local compensation and benefits, salaries and wages. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Yes, Madam Chair. We are requesting the board approve. We had 2 days since our last board meeting, August 22nd, and where we closed for inclement weather, and then September 6th, when we closed the Fort McIntosh campus for during that safety situation that we had here on campus. And so unless the board would require us, according to policy, the board could require us to make up the hours that we lost on that day. The other option is that you allow us to compensate our employees for both of those days. On August 22nd, we left here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was all afternoon. And then on September 6th, we dismissed everyone at 3:30 in the afternoon after the event. And so our recommendation from the administration is that you would kindly approve so that we can pay our employees for those days.
Motion to approve.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mrs. Garcia. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
None.
Sorry, I
Chair
just
recognizes
wanted-
Ms. Elizondo.
For the future, Dr. Ramirez, is there any way that we could say whenever we work for the budget next year that we can have like an emergency fund, just so we can allocate that? Is that necessary? Is there something that we can do
So
to
if
avoid
you,
this?
if you look down on item 9C,
Okay.
there are gonna be some proposed changes to that TASB is making to the policy, and
Okay,
that would
good.
allow then
Your discretion.
myself to have the discretion if we
Okay.
need to during an emergency situation to close and pay the
Yeah, because
employees.
they shouldn't be waiting to get paid if if it was an emergency and they really didn't have a choice. So that's great that they're amending the policy to illustrate that.
So that'll come up in a few minutes. So
Thank you.
Call
Any
for the
other
question.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9C, TASB, Board Policy Updated 45.
like 9B.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Adoption of resolution approving Laredo College District Board nominees of candidates for the Webb County Appraisal District Board of Directors, Ms. Lupita Cepeda and Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Yes, Madam Chair, we received a letter from the Webb County Appraisal District requesting a nomination from our board for a representative to, a possible representative to the Webb County Appraisal District. This does not guarantee us a seat at the table because technically the position that we currently hold, that Mr. Delgado holds, is a position that belongs to another entity that has been allowed for Laredo College to have a representative on this Webb County Appraisal District. So they are asking us for a name, and it is up to your all's discretion for that.
Madam Chair,
Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
what seat are we?
It-
Um,
So
Mm.
UISD gets 3,
okay,
and so they've, for the last, I don't know how many years, for many years,
they've given.
they've
one seat.
given 1 seat to Laredo College.
Okay, and so how would it work if another person is selected, another trustee is selected, and then does that bump out the,
So currently, the person that's there representing the college is Mr. Delgado. It has, every 2 years, you have to submit a new name, and it's 2 years.
Mhm.
So we have to submit a new name. Now, the appraisal district will request from UISD the seat. And if they're willing to give up the seat again to us, then our nominee will then take that position. If they choose not to, if they choose to withdraw the seat, then we won't have
We
anyone.
won't have.
But my recommendation is that we give them a name so that hopefully we'll continue to serve, someone will represent the college on that board.
And board members, we do have 2 interested board members. We have Ms. Karina Elizondo and JD Delgado that are interested in serving if and when we do get the seat again.
but currently JD sits on it.
Yes, sir.
He's
And
there.
he's the vice president of the Webb County Appraisal District.
So we would have to, we would have to decide today.
The deadline for us to submit
Think it's the
is
end.
nominations before October the 15th.
So yes,
So we won't be
Yes.
having another meeting before then. So I'll name Ms. Karina Elizondo first for a vote. How many votes?
I'll vote.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then JD Delgado will just be me, I guess. So how do we do that? 4 would be okay?
Board action can only be taken if 5 board members vote
So you would have to vote, Miss, well, she did vote.
I did
She
vote.
but
but
in
it's-
favor of a nominee. You
Oh, okay.
can't nominate a nominee unless 5 board members vote in favor of that nominee. If you had, for example, 9 board members present and 5 voted in favor of either Mr. Delgado or Ms. Elizondo, then that person would sit. But the board can only take action if 5 members
5.
vote on a motion. So you
So
have
then
to,
I can change my vote
you could.
to go
Yeah, of course.
with the majority?
And the way to do it, somebody would make a motion, someone else would second the motion, and then the motion would be put on the floor for a vote. So for example, someone can move to nominate Ms. Elizondo, that could be seconded. Then it's
Okay.
put to a vote. If all 5 cast votes in favor of that motion, Ms. Elizondo would be the nominated director.
Okay,
And if only 4 vote in favor and 1 against, the motion would fail.
okay. So do I have a motion?
I'll vote for Ms. Elizondo.
So you're making a motion
Yes, I'm.
for
motion.
Ms. Elizondo. Do I have a second?
I second.
Ms. Elizondo, second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Ms. Elizondo will be representing us at the,
Thank you.
We will submit the information,
name.
Madam Chair, to the Webb County Appraisal District.
Thank you.
thank you, thank you. Now I can read 9C. PSB Board Policy Update 45, review updated legal policies and act on local policies. See list below, Dr. David Villarisola.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues. About twice a year, TASB updates the policy manual for the college. This time around, we only received 7 local policies that are updated. Remember, our policy manual is made up of legal policies. So there's plenty of updates there, but the board does not vote on those. Those are basically taken from the laws directly into our policy manual. So local policies, which are interpretations of the legal policies and sort of customized to our what we do here. That's what the board would have to review and vote on. And then we have regulations and exhibits, which are almost like appendices to the policies. So the 7 policies are a new policy, CDB local. I won't read the whole thing, but I checked with Mr. Vela on this because it does apply to accounting and his area, and he says we will already follow this policy. So our practices are already in line with what this policy says that we should be doing. Okay? CT local is on intellectual property, mostly talking about that any employee that creates anything while working for the college that is property of the college. Also restricts the use of copyrighted works and the use of the Laredo College trademark and copyright as well. Very minor changes, mostly changes in the wording. You'll see them in your packet there. DEA local is on compensation and benefits. Again, I highlighted most of what TASB did in DEA is they restructured it, right? So we had a DEA local, they added DEA-A and DEA-B and restructured a lot of movement, not a lot of additions or deletions to that. So when you see the policies in your packet, you might see a big chunk of red, but that just means that got moved to a different policy. So it didn't get completely deleted, just moved to a different section. So again, in its totality, not a lot of changes in the policy there. DH local on employee standards of conduct clarifies a little bit on what we consider paraphernalia, or what the college should consider paraphernalia when we have policies that relate to alcohol and drugs and its paraphernalia. It also adds a little statement on, and I think we talked about it in one of the previous board meetings, but on who has the authority. In this case, it says the board or the college president has the authority to waive the college's alcohol prohibitions at certain events and at specific locations on property. It's something that we already do. And Last one, another easy one, FD local says that basically says a board has to review any differential tuition that the college may assess a student who takes a course too many times or is in excess of certain hours. So we have two actually that we've all been doing. I tried to remember when we last did, but the three-peat core rule and the developmental rule.
That's required by
It's
coordinating
been-
board.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years that we've had it in our catalog and in our policies, but we do have such a structure where a student who repeats a course more than 3 times has to pay an additional fee to take that course. So most of these are simple. Some of us were at the meeting in August, the TASB update. Now, after the legislature and the policies that are gonna change because of that, that presentation will be in February. That's gonna be a lot longer than this. I anticipate that we're gonna have quite a few changes in TASB update 46. But this
Motion to
one
approve.
is easy.
I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. Second by Mrs. Garcia. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Aresola. Next item we have is 9D, renaming the Mary Alice Lopez Building name to P1 and relocating Mary Alice Lopez name to the College of Health Sciences Building as per Laredo College policy, CLA local, facilities planning facilities standards. Dr. Diana Ortiz.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, President Ramirez, colleagues, Laredo College family, and community members. My name is Dr. Diana Ortiz, and I'm the Vice President of Institutional Advancement. Today, I come before you for consideration and approval to temporarily rename the Mary Alice Building to P1 and relocate the Mary Alice Lopez name to the College of Health Sciences Building Nursing Wing, currently located on the second floor of the College of Health Science Building at the South Campus. Relocating the exterior Lopez Building signage from the Fort Mac campus Customs and Border Protection Building to the Laredo College campus, we are asking for this because we would like to dedicate this wing to the Mary Alice Lopez, in memory of Mary Alice Lopez, a faculty member who was instrumental in developing the nursing program that is so well recognized by the state and the nation here at Laredo College, and temporarily renaming the current Lopez Customs Border Protection Building at Fort Mac to P1. The idea is to make this dedication to the family, have the family come in and give them the recognition, because now the health science wing so very much does a lot of great things with our nursing students, and it is now at that location. The budgetary considerations would come from the physical plant and facilities alteration account.
Motion to approve.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Elizondo. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Next item is number 10, information items. 10A, enrollment report. Dr. Fred Solis and Ms. Jessica Trevino.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, President Ramirez, colleagues, and visitors. My name is Fred Solis. I'm the Vice President for Student Success and Enrollment, and presenting alongside with me tonight is also.
Good evening, Jessica Trevino, Associate Vice President of Enrollment Management.
This evening, we're going to be presenting the current enrollment numbers as they stand. I'll start off by indicating how continuing education or the non-credit enrollment did for the past year. We had over 2,634 students that participated in various trainings throughout all 4 quarters. I do want to point out that continuing education does not run on a semester basis like a traditional college course does. It runs on a quarter basis. Offering the most enrollment this year were the programs of Police Academy, the substitute teacher training, and hazardous material transporting training that took place throughout the year. For continuing ed, September marks the beginning of their first quarter. So the 23-24 school year is underway now. And currently, I'm going to update this number. Since the printing of the slide, we're up to 320 students now that are participating in quarter one. So far in quarter one for continuing ed, the police academy, substitute teacher, and the real estate management program are the ones that are garnering the most enrollment as of now. Looking at our credit enrollment, our traditional enrollment, the fall semester began on August the 21st. The fall enrollment number actually includes all the students enrolled in the 16-week terms. That's the typical traditional fall semester enrollment. The students that are in the first 8-week term, and then students that are enrolled in the 4 and 7-week terms as well. Fall enrollment combines both the non-dual credit and dual credit students as an overall count. Currently, our enrollment number is at 9,296, which puts us above 2% above where we were last year. So we were so far so good, 2% ahead. Dual credit alone increased by 11%. And that accounts for about 44% of our overall enrollment as of now. Now, to note, the dual credit enrollment number is going to be working towards the advantage of the college because it presents a funding opportunity through the new funding model that the state has now approved, whereby all of the students that are enrolled in dual credit can actually be the colleges that offer dual credit will be compensated by the state for all the courses that the students take. That is known as a financial aid for swift transfer, otherwise known as FAST. So what's going to be important for this number is going to be the number of semester credit hours that the students enroll for that are dual credit. Again, there's a process that's going to be followed. We hope that we anticipate that we're going to have a good return on our investment. As you recall, the board voted recently to forego charging for dual credit, tuition and fees. But in exchange for having done that decision, the state will now reimburse us for that as well. So it looks favorable at this time. Registration for the fall 2023 second 8 weeks is still underway. And currently we have an additional 200 first-time in college students that are waiting to begin in that second 8-week term, along with several hundred other students that are returning that are currently not enrolled. So registration is still ongoing for when that second 8 weeks begins in the middle part of October. Any questions so far? Okay.
So alongside the lines of enrollment, we did want to present to you a pilot program that we're currently working on, what we call the drops for non-payment. So as we enroll all students, we also try to make sure that they have the financial assistance required to cover and pay for their courses. Recently, this fall, we started piloting a new way of dropping students for non-payment. So rather than just dropping students for a non-payment in a bulk because they don't have the means to cover for their financial situation in college, we actually started dividing how we drop the students. If we were to have dropped originally, how we used to on August 19, we would have dropped a total of 659 students for non-payment. Now, mind you, there are multiple reasons why these students don't have payment. Some of them could include the fact that they actually fell into suspension for financial aid, whether it's because of their GPA or their semester credit hour pace that they're following. Some students do not apply for financial aid altogether and they fail to pay out of pocket, or so on and so forth. So there's multiple reasons why a student would not receive financial assistance. However, instead of dropping 659 students by staggering the drops this fall semester, we dropped a total of 277 students, out of which we recovered 68 students in one day. So we did reduce the number of drops that we would have had for non-payment. These 200 plus students that were dropped students, period, Could have been that they registered for us early in the registration period and later on had a change of plans, or they committed to a different institution and were remained enrolled with us until the last minute if in case any plans changed. So it was a good operation to do. It was a manual drop that was done. So we are working on automating this process and seeing how it's affecting every other area in the college, such as academics, accounting, bursars, and whatnot, as we continue testing out these processes. But again, it was a significant change, less than 50% of the drops that we would have originally dropped if we would have just removed all courses. What you see there on the graph is just a breakdown of how the drops went. I know that these are codes. N08 stands for the first 8 weeks. So students solely registered for the first 8 weeks that were dropped were only 10. After that, you see a combination of terms, excuse me. So N08 plus F08, first 8 weeks plus second 8 weeks, and so on and so forth. So all of these are codes. We're working on detailing and describing this coding so that everybody's aware of what each means, because they all represent a different period of time within our 16-week term. And we're currently working with the F08 pending payment options. So the same way we did for N08, we are targeting, like Dr. Solis mentioned, we do have 1,002 students who are solely registered for Flex Term 2, which is the second 8 weeks. And we are working with them and targeting them now so that we make sure that they have the means of payment, the means of financial assistance to actually remain enrolled with us. And we have from now till the start date, which is October 16, to ensure that we get as many as we can fully covered to remain enrolled. Questions with this so far?
Any question? Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
Thank you. This is great information. On the 659 or whatever students based on the semester that we're facing, do we look at their grades? Do we look at their attendance to be able to, and the reason why I'm asking that is if you have X student that is attending the class and has a good GPA on it, I mean, do we even consider that to, I mean, maybe the student just doesn't have the means to pay for it. And I mean, what considerations do we take there?
Yes, definitely. So actually, before we drop any student, we actually look at the full picture to see if the student is eligible for aid other than the federal aid that they would be entitled to or scholarships. So one of the things that we did this year was before we dropped anybody, everybody received a phone call, kind of looked at their situation, see where they were, try to meet them in the middle, see if we could cover partially, and then they would cover the other partial payment. Now, the other thing that we did as well was we accepted generously Mr. Vela's increase for emergency tuition loans. So we actually pumped in there another $150,000 for students who may not have had the means of payment at that moment, but we're gonna get paid, I don't know, payment during their pay date a couple of weeks later. So we were able to extend and work with those deadlines as well.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
So that's what we're doing with the rest of the students right now for F08. Again, we're looking at our scholarship budgets in conjunction with Dr. Ortiz to see where they are with scholarship money so that we can cover as much as we possibly can. But we're looking at each student individually for their case.
That's really good. Now,
I'm sorry. If I might add, we also this year received additional funding in TEOG funds. Normally, we would get $800,000 in TEOG. This year, we got $2 million in TEOG. And so that money has been used to help solidify these students' financial assistance.
Now, you said that you asked for an additional 150,000. What was the current budget allocated? Do you remember?
For
top of your head?
emergency loans?
Yeah.
For emergency loans, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
350, I think it was 350,000.
So we bumped it up to 500,000.
Temporarily. We know it's a one-time loan.
We cover, so an emergency loan is a loan that a student receives to do an emergency cover, but they're gonna be responsible for paying that back. Now, if they're waiting for financial aid to kick in, or they're waiting for payday, or they're waiting for something, an external grant or an external scholarship, once they get that money, it has to go to pay that emergency loan. Because if not, it will become a debt for the student.
Okay.
So, and we recover it so that then we can generate it again and use it for another student or the following semester.
Now, just for the record, we do exhaust all avenues before we hit the emergency loan, correct?
Yes, so in essence, we are trying our very best to post scholarships ahead of time, way in advance before the student even hits the payment deadline. That was actually another reason of the separation of the terms. We do have one payment deadline set as an institution. However, because each term has different lengths of time, a class that is a 16-week period has 12 days before we're at the census date. So we have that grace period to try to make sure we're helping cover everything we possibly can. However, an 8-week course only has 6 days. A 4-week course has a 3-day timeline. So that was the reasoning behind the drop staggering. It is something that affects the college at large because we know that instruction is waiting to have their final full roster. And we want to make sure that we provide numbers as accurately as we can. Again, this was the first fall semester that we did this to pilot. And we're going to analyze the data as soon as we hit FO8 census date to see if it's going to continue this way or to see how we can restructure. But yes, we exhaust all funding and avenue before we.
Last question, and do we call them several times before we actually hit the drop date and not do it like that same day?
Yes, so actually what we're doing is we were already emailing students and we were perhaps calling them. We're being a little bit more intrusive in our calling system. We're trying to make sure our call campaigns are actually meaningful. And instead of them receiving a phone call from the bursar's office for payment, and then a phone call from the admissions office the following day for a bacterial meningitis vaccine, for instance, we're trying to work as a unit so that that phone call is a meaningful phone call. And we actually review the entire student record so that we can make sure that it's being a holistic review of the student file. So the next step is going to be, and I'm going to slide it here, to potentially acquire a two-way texting system so that we're actually able to text the students two-way and make sure that that communication is back and forth with the student. I know we currently have a texting system, but it's working more as a one-way notification rather than a two-way.
That's really good. Thank you so much thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay, I recognize Ms. Elizondo.
Thank you. Well, I actually received emergency loans when I was in college, and I think they're extremely helpful because sometimes financially it doesn't kick in until after. But my question to you all, because when I was there, not only did I had a concern on the money, right, but also the books. Is there anything that you guys are doing to assist students that are not able to pay for tuition at that moment with their books? Because if it's 8 weeks into the semester, I mean, are you guys having?
Right, so the open education resource is definitely going to be a very big benefit to the student body at that point with the book situation. But we are currently working with our bookstore and with the bursar's office, now that the bursar's office is part of the enrollment management unit, to actually see how the book advancement process is working. So we want to make sure that the student has the resource necessary, again, before the 8 weeks are over. But we want to make sure that the student is also accounting for the fact that they are going to be receiving their financial assistance. Something that we did see a lot of was students were only missing one document, one paper, or whatnot with the financial aid department. So again, being part of the intrusive phone call, it's like, I'm not just calling to let you know that you're missing one item, I'm calling to complete it with you on the line. So that way we can make sure we clear that out. So yes, so the books is something that we are accounting for. The book advancement process needs to be revisited, and that's what's on our to-do list. But we do understand that the OER is going to be a great resource.
And I remember when I took some classes at TAMU, we were able to borrow the books from the library like temporarily just for the time that we were there, and we will return them. So maybe that's another thing that we can do in order to provide them with, let's say they need to read chapter 1 and 2, at least have those available for them while they get the funds or the books.
Definitely.
That's a good idea. You want to talk about OERs by January?
Chair recognizes Dr. Ortiz.
Well, I just want to add that for institutional advancement, where we're working very, very closely with Jessica and her team, we're scrutinizing all scholarships that we currently have and placing many of them into scholarship universe, looking at criteria, agreements, updating contact information that they're already using. And then in terms of regular scholarships that we have and endowments, we're actually identifying what's out there and notifying, her team, this is available currently right now. This is what's available for these students that are second year nursing students, or these are for general studies. So we are working together on trying to allocate additional funds that might be available as we're transitioning into Razor's Edge and Blackbaud, and trying to update that information and make sure that Jessica and her team know.
So in addition to the assistance with Dr. Ortiz and her team with institutional advancement, I do want to mention that the Office of Financial Aid was one of the first ones in my area that is going through the banner optimization process. So they are looking at their processes currently so that we can make sure that we are awarding in the most effective way for the student. We want to make sure our awards are early, ahead of time. We want to make sure that we account for all this multiple terms and that we don't just pay out all the money on the first 8 weeks and then what for the second 8 weeks. So all of these questions are being asked, and we're actually meeting with a consultant almost on a daily for about 4 hours a day to make sure that we're looking at these processes step by step and that we're not missing anything. One of the things that we will be able to pull out, Mr. Angel, is now by reports why a student lost their financial aid. Right now we can tell you how many we have, but now I'll be able to tell you, it was because of GPA, it was because of PACE, it was because of both, it was because of this and that. So we're looking at our coding and we're detailing exactly.
Very good. Thank you.
Very good.
Chair recognizes Dr. Tijerina.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. For the record, I'm very proud to say that the Academic Affairs Division, to answer your question, Ms. Elizondo, we have a goal for spring of 2024 for all the dual academic core courses to be 100% OER. So not just for our dual, but also for our regular students. The ultimate goal is by fall of 2024, which is not too far out, less than a year, is to have 100% of OER for all. I have workforce really looking and health sciences really looking into manuals. Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board has a repository website that you'll be surprised how many resources are available there. And our faculty are using that. Our Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning also has a sub group right now of not just faculty, but librarians that are helping also faculty that may not know where the resources are at, how we can better assist them. Like, what Ms. Kelly addressed earlier, this team has been trained for the past 2 years to be able to help faculty that may be struggling in finding those resources.
Just a quick question.
Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Thank you. But faculty still has the freedom to personally choose which books they want to use. They're not limited to a certain amount of, to a catalog.
The nice thing with OER, sorry, again, Dr. Tijerina for the record, is that let's say I have 5 different OERs, but I only like 2 chapters of this one chapter of this one, another chapter here, and I want to create 5 of my own. You can mix and match and create your new open educational resource and have it peer reviewed. And the TGCB, they respect those, so we upload them into the repository of the state. So that's the nice thing, because you pick and choose what you like.
Okay.
Good job.
Customization.
Thank you. Good.
Any
Any
other
other
questions?
questions?
No, ma'am.
Last slide, please just save the dates. We are looking forward to Opening registration for wintermester 2023 and spring 2024 on Monday, November 6th, 2023. That is pushing it 1 week forward from last year. So we are excited to see what spring 2024 is going to look like in terms of registration. And of course, the commencement fall ceremony, fall 2023 on Friday, December 15th. Please save the date. Times to be determined based on the number of graduates, but we will be informing you as we move forward.
Good job. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Solis.
Thank you.
And Ms. Jessica. Thank you. Next item we have is 10B Fall Fest 2023, Ms. Priscilla Medina and Dr. Diana Ortiz.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, President Ramirez, colleagues, Laredo College family, and guests. My name is Dr. Diana Ortiz, and I'm the Vice President of Institutional Advancement here at Laredo College, and I am here with
Priscilla Medina, Dean of the South Campus.
And today we're going to be sharing some great news regarding our upcoming South Campus Fall Fest. Ms. Medina will give you all the details regarding the actual activity, but I want to share with you that we have been blessed with a donor who has gifted us $35,000. There's a 2-year commitment to the South Campus Fall Fest for this year and next year, and Falcon Bank will be sponsoring the entire event this year and next year to make this great event available to our community. So we're very grateful to our partner, Falcon Bank. You will hear more about it, and I'm going to turn it over to Priscilla so she can give you the details about what's happening that day.
Good evening, board members, Madam Chair, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues and guests. Again, my name is Priscilla Medina, Dean of the South Campus, and we're so excited because we had a tremendous event last year. Most of you were there. We had it at the South Campus, and so I just wanted to explain. At the Fort McIntosh campus, they celebrate the Fun Fest, which is connected with WBCA. At the South Campus, we have the Fall Fest. And at the Fall Fest, what we do is that we don't bring any outside agencies. We allow all our departments to showcase their areas of expertise of what their departments are. So we're very excited to have the Fall Fest. We have great activities. We are going to be starting at 4 and we will end at 10 p.m. We will be showcasing Lucha Maniacs. They're a great lucha team that comes out, and they travel internationally and all around Texas, and we will be having them. They will be performing for 2 hours. I have requested that we have some female luchadoras because I think that we should have some female representation in that lucha ring. So that we have requested that. So they will be performing for 2 hours. They have several of the international stars that will be coming out. And then we will have Calle Ocho that will be performing for 2 hours. They really did a great job last year with their band. And so now we're going to be asking them to perform for 2 hours from 8 to 10 o'clock. I know that Dr. Ramirez likes to dance cumbia, so we requested a lot of cumbias for this event. And it was really a very fun event. All of the departments came out and they really showcased their areas. We had a lot of activities, and the activities that we have are free. So each of the departments, we ask them to have an activity or exhibit, but we also give out trinkets, candies, everything, information from their department so that the kids can take home something and the family members can get informed also if they have any questions about financial aid, admissions, any of the programs, departmental programs that we have. So it's a very fun event, and we want to invite all of y'all to come out. So if you can please place it on your calendar for October the 14th. We'll have food, live music, the lucha libre games, the costume contest. We'll have inflatables and much more. And so we do invite everyone to come out, and we hope that y'all have a good time with us out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
Thank you. This is a great event for people over there in South Laredo because I know they do attend it. I have heard great comments on it. So I really do want to congratulate your team and congratulate Laredo College. I do nominate our board president and our board and our president to be the ladies de lucha libre. I like to see that. I'll pay money for that.
And just know if we could add that the event starts at 4 o'clock, but because they're so excited about what is taking place, the promotions are awesome. And people get there by 3:30, they're already there. You know, kids are dressed in costume. You have all different age groups. And we were there early and we were there late last time and people
Great
stayed
event.
till the very end. So. thank you.
Great event.
I
Thank
do
you.
want to, Madam Chair.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you. And I also do want to let you all know that we are planning a press conference with Falcon Bank for this event. It will be at the South Campus. And so it's Tuesday. You should have it on your calendars. I hope you can join us to thank Falcon Bank and their president and trustees who has so graciously offered to support this event for 2 years. And so I think
What
it's
time Tuesday?
9 a.m. 9 a.m. and it will be at the,
College of Health Sciences, room 118.
This Tuesday?
yes,
Yes,
this Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Can we get those?
Yeah, we'll send you an update, right, Ms. Liz?
Well, I ask all board members to put it on your calendar. I was there last year and it was very well attended. Everybody had a great time. The music is fabulous.
And the
Calle Ocho
luchas were
puts on-
fun.
The luchas were fun as well. So I do recommend that all board members participate. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.
I don't look that good.
Thank you.
Next item is executive session. We have item number 11A, due process termination hearing filed by a Laredo College exempt staff member in response to recommendation for termination as per board policy DMAA local term contract termination and contract closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071 and 551.074. 11B would be Laredo College exempt staff member grievance hearing arising from the appeal of investigation conducted under board policy DIAB local, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, other protective characteristics, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071 and 551.074.
Motion to go to executive session.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. I have a second by Mrs. Garcia to go to executive session. So at this time, I'm going to recommend, at this time, we're going to go to executive session. The time is 7:20 and the board will adjourn into executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agendas 11A and 11B. Thank you, everybody.
You need me to sign it? Yes. Red is okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz.
Quiet turn.
Yes.
Ready? Let's go. I mean, I know you did. For the first time, they're gonna leave before 8.
Reconvene from closed session. The time is now 7:42 PM and the board took no action in executive session. Will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. So 12 is discussion and possible action. 12A, termination of Laredo College exempt staff member after due process hearing.
Madam Chair,
11.
Chair recognizes I'm sorry, 12A. What did I say?
Madam Chair.
12A, right?
Yes,
Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
Madam Chair, I motion to defer item 12A.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. Do I have a second?
I do.
I have a second by Mrs. Vela.
Yes.
Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye, Mr.
No.
Oh, okay.
I am. And
The-
then just, may I, for the record?
Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Yes. The only reason why I'm against this, it's because I believe she currently has a legal action pending. And I believe that every employee here deserves due process. And while that's pending, I think it's important that we honor what's on the table at this time. And and yeah, I just wanted to state that on the record. We have Laredo College has approximately over 600 employees and continue to paying this employee while this action is pending, it's not going to break the bank. So I think they are entitled to their rights and I think that this board should honor that.
Mr. Mayor?
Well, I think if the board is going to conduct a hearing tonight, we have to find out, and I don't know, Mr. Garcia, who's representing the administration, would have to weigh in to see if Mr. Altgeld is ready to proceed. Mr. Altgeld represents the employee, and to my understanding, he is not ready to proceed tonight if there will be a hearing.
That's why you have to defer the action.
That's what we have to defer. I mean, by deferring the action,
We're just
we're
putting it
still,
aside.
we're still gonna help her. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still going. We're not calling it, it's
It's not
done.
over.
We're just deferring it.
If you were tabling it, then you would.
We
never
table
bring
Yeah,
it back.
you would never bring it back.
Just for the record, can we make sure that this item comes back when we bring the other item back as well?
It will come.
Well, it all depends on the attorneys, what they decide on
But Madam
when it
Chair,
comes back.
I-
Chair recognizes Mr. Angel.
but she's saying that she wants to make a motion based on what is being stated on 12A. So are you recommending termination today?
No.
Well, it's
No,
because you're
she's
saying
not.
that you rather make a motion on the item that is stated today, and the item states termination of Laredo College of employee. So is
No.
that what you want?
My stand and the reason why I voted against to defer that, because I believe she does have an action pending and I believe that we need to honor her employee right. So if we're going to allow that for the item 11B to come back, I believe that we should bring the other one too as well.
But we're not
That's what we're not
terminating the
terminating.
employee. We're just deferring.
That's
just-
why you're deferring
we're
it, so
just
we don't terminate her.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
no,
way
we're
it's
No
just waiting.
termination.
No,
No.
Okay,
no, we can't do any of that. We're just putting it on a wait list. I'm sorry, I'm talking out of
Okay.
turn.
So
Because we have
I
to
make
have-
a motion again
Yeah, you just
to defer the item 12A.
So I have a motion to defer. I have a second by Mrs. Vela. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
And if
Mr. Mayor?
I may, just to be clear, No hearing was held in executive session, so
Correct.
that the public is aware of that. And the only action right now the board took is to defer this item. No other decision was made by the board.
Correct. Next item is 12B, consider grievance arising from the appeal of investigation conducted under board policy DIAB local, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, other protective characteristics.
Madam Chair,
Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
I also make the same motion to defer item 12B.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel to defer item 12B. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mrs. Garcia. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item I have is number 13, President's Remarks. 13A is Campus Police, Personnel, Travel, and Title IX Reports. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Yes, Madam Chair, in your packets, you received the reports for Campus Police and Title IX. And I believe all of you have read all of those. Under my report, I do want to share with you all that today I attended the Laredo Economic Development Pathways Conference this morning. I was there all morning and for lunch and met with several of the folks that were here from different entities that were presenting. We made some initial contacts with some of the manufacturing companies and storage companies and warehousing companies that were there. That went very well. We had the faculty from the logistics, the Import, Export, and Logistics Center there, and as well as Mr. Heriberto Hernandez and Dr. Ortiz and myself. Also, just to mention for you all as well on a compliance issue, we do have to annually report the financial aid audit to the federal government, and it's called the FISAP report. That report, it's the Fiscal Operations Report and application to participate within the Title IV programming. That report was submitted by Mr. Stephen Aguilar from Financial Aid already. It's been accepted and approved, and so we're good to go through June 30th of 2025. And so we're in good shape there. Even though annually we do get audited and we will continue to get audited, we've been granted the opportunity to continue to award. As part of the new funding structure, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, from the state, the TEOG funding went up exponentially. We used to receive $800,000 a year, and this year we received a little over 2 million.
Wow.
And so that really gave us some strong leverage to help support students during their academic or workforce programming here at the college. And so we're really proud of that. All of that under financial aid. Also, a couple of additional items coming up. We have, you heard about graduation on December the 15th. We have a golf tournament that we're planning to do as a fundraiser for the college. The golf tournament is scheduled for Saturday, December the 9th. It's going to be at the Casablanca Golf Course. And so we'll be sending out sponsorship letters soon. Dr. Ortiz and Dr. Diana Espinosa are spearheading that project. And so it should be a lot of fun and should be an exciting time for us. We have the press conference next week for Fall Fest as well. We have the second start of the fall semester on October the 16th. October the 18th is a real big day for us, so I hope most of you can, if not all of you, can join us. We have the rededication of the private David B. Barkley Cantu Memorial statues that were donated to the college by PNC. And that should happen at 9 o'clock in the morning, right in front of the chapel where the statues have been erected. And so our thanks to PNC for their gracious donation, not only of the statues themselves, but of the cost, enduring the cost to actually move them and put them back up. And so we'll have a little reception following that. That program is being planned. And then tentatively, we have scheduled for Wednesday, October the 18th, our next regular board meeting. Upcoming travels, we are meeting with the Region 1 Gear Up program in Bruni on Monday to schedule a program with them. We're also on October the 4th and the 5th, I'll be presenting at the Illusion Conference in Dallas, Texas. And then Illusion is the company that we're working with for our banner rollover into the cloud. And then on October the 6th, we're having a day in Freer. If anybody wants to come, we're going to spend the day in Freer, Texas. We're looking at partnering with them for the spring. And so we're going to go showcase some of our programs to the community of Freer. And then on October 15th and 16th, we have the Texas Association of College and University Student Personnel Administrators. I'll be keynoting at that event in El Paso, Texas, and that's on a weekend. So with that in mind, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I think on the lastly, the closure that we had during the scare, the event, the communication of that, we really depend on our Campus Shield app. And so I urge all of you that if you haven't downloaded Campus Shield and you haven't activated, and that includes employees, faculty, staff, students, everybody. We started sending out notifications within minutes of the time that we were aware that there was a possible suspect on campus. And with social media being what it is, it's really difficult sometimes to get even ahead of that. And so while maybe some of you were getting delayed messaging, it became apparent that as the event was unfolding, and all of us were called to immediate action. It was difficult to communicate with 9 people. And therefore, my response was to Ms. Cepeda, who is the president of the board, to immediately be aware of what was going on as soon as I was able to assess the situation and give her some information that she then shared with all of you. But so that you can have firsthand access to the information that we're sending out, Campus Shield is the way to go. If you don't have your notifications on, and several people told us, well, I have Campus Shield. And so when we said, well, let's check your notifications, bless you. Well, notifications were not turned on. So if you don't have them turned on, you're never going to get a message. And so I think it's imperative for all of us to check that. Now, the other thing is, if you don't use an app often enough, after a certain number of weeks, they go dormant. And if you don't turn it on again, you're not going to get your notifications. And so I urge everyone, at least once a month, just click on Campus Shield, because if not, it will go dormant on you. And that is key for all of us. It's key for all of our safety. It's key for us to be able to communicate in a timely manner with everyone. And so I thank you all for your patience. I thank you all for the support. But I really want to thank all of the law enforcement agencies that came to our support on that particular day, because within minutes, everyone was here, and within an hour, we had cleared out the entire campus. And so, I do credit that to the leadership of our chief, Chief Hernandez, and to Dr. David Ariasola, who immediately reacted to the situation, and then to all of our employees who really took action. They immediately started, the moment that notification went out, everyone took action. Even when they weren't sure if they were doing the exact right thing, they knew to lock the door. And that was the right thing to do. And so we're working on some after action items. We had it on Monday. We had someone here from every single law enforcement agency that supported us on that day for what is called a hot wash. I learned a new word this week, and that is an after action debriefing. And everybody gave their ideas and opinions about what we could have done better, what we did right, what needs to be replicated, and what else we need to do. And we found, things that we need to take care of, as in everything. We can always get better. We can always be stronger. And so again, thank you to all of the public who understood, and certainly to the media who helped us through that process of getting the right information out, and not necessarily listening to those who were saying, oh, there's a gun, and there wasn't. And so it's easy to blow things out of proportion, and unfortunately that created a real big scare. And so at the end of the day, we were very fortunate. No one got hurt. We found out who our friends were, and certainly thank you all for your support and patience through that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. The next item is number 14. The next meeting date is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. It's our regular Board of Trustees meeting. Now, the next item is adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Rangel,
I second.
a second by Ms. Elizondo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
7:58.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?